Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Tactical Turnip 92. Thanks for the suggestion, Turnip. You asked, why is the lowest military rank called private? Great question, because honestly, nothing about being a private is private. You're loudly yelled at 5 a.m. Everyone knows exactly where you're standing, and your drill sergeant probably knows your childhood fears. So why the name? Well, grab your boots, keep your head down, and stay tuned as we uncover why private became the military's bottom rung, right here on Explaining Everything. Let's kick things off by going way back, medieval Europe level back. The word private originally just meant individual or personal, basically the opposite of public. That's it. Nothing about camouflage, marching, or being ordered to scrub something that definitely doesn't need scrubbing. In Latin, privatus referred to an ordinary person who wasn't a public official. When the word made its way into Middle English, private still meant someone outside official leadership. So early on, calling someone private was kind of like saying, you're not in charge of anything. Fast forward to the 1500s and 1600s, and armies across Europe start formalizing ranks. Soldiers who weren't officers, nobles, or specialists needed a label. You couldn't call everyone, "Hey, you," forever. Someone would eventually respond, "Who, me?" and then fall into a moat. So militaries borrowed the civilian meaning, the private person, the one with no authority, the ordinary individual that became private soldier, which was shortened to just private. So ironically, the lowest military rank is named after being unspecial. That's the whole joke. Now that we've got the name origin, let's talk about why it stuck. In early armies, officers were wealthy landowners who could afford armor, horses, and the ability to say things like "forward" dramatically. Privates, on the other hand, were usually just regular citizens hired or conscripted to fight. They didn't own equipment, titles, or land. They brought themselves, their fear, and maybe a lucky rock. So private also had a side meaning, someone who didn't bring resources. Officers? They brought authority, money, and a horse that cost more than your house. A private? They brought enthusiasm, sometimes. And since privates were the entry-level troops, the term became associated with the most junior role. Think of it like the medieval equivalent of intern, except with way higher stakes and no coffee runs. Over time, militaries stopped sourcing officers from nobility, but the rank name stayed because traditions in the military change about as quickly as a glacier stuck in traffic. One thing about military terminology. If the British Army used it, chances are everyone else eventually went, "Yeah, that sounds fancy. Let's steal it." By the 17th century, the British Army consistently used the term private soldier. It made sense. Their officers were gentlemen, and the rank and file were not. It drew a clean line between the leaders and the one being led. By the 18th century, private was the official lowest rank. When the United States formed its own armed forces, they modeled much of their structure after the British system. That included uniforms, drill commands, and of course, the humble private. other countries adopted similar systems, either through influence or because militaries like standardization almost as much as they like yelling. Side note, some countries chose different lowest rank names, like Soldado Raso in Spanish-speaking armies, literally meaning plain soldier. Brutal, but honest. Still, private became the internationally recognized English term. So, yes, the British basically turned private into the global starter pack rank. Here's where things get hilarious. The name private sounds like someone who has a quiet room, anonymity, and a locked door. In reality, privates are legendarily the least private people in the military. You sleep in a shared barracks. You shower with 30 other people. Your entire schedule is public knowledge. Your drill sergeant knows your regrets before you do. If you sneeze, 5 people shout, "Bless you, Private," before you even inhale. Privacy? Yeah, nah. The only thing private is your pay grade. And even that's mostly just low enough to be a secret from yourself. The rank name stuck purely out of tradition, even after the meaning of private changed in English to mean hidden or not public. So you end up with a situation where the least private humans alive carry the title private. Humanity truly knows comedy. So in the end, the private is private in name, but absolutely not in lifestyle. They're the backbone of the military, the entry-level hero, and the proud wearer of a title that historically meant congratulations. You're officially not in charge. Yet. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and to whoever's enlisting, good luck, Private. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.